one more.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, ready? I'm Roxeanne Vainuku. I am the Deputy Communications Director for West Valley City. The spelling of my name is Roxeanne. Last name is spelled V as in Victor, A-I, N as in Nancy, U-K-U. The home that we are discussing today is this one that is right back here behind me, the one with the green awnings on it. You can see the doors open and the lights on inside. We had a family member contact us last night. They had some concerns that the woman who lives in this house had not been reachable for a couple of days. The family member had come by the house over the previous few days and had not been able to reach the woman. So we came out to the house last night and tried to make contact with the people inside, but no one answered. We looked into the windows, we talked to some of the neighbors, and we were not able to find anything that indicated any kind of an emergency or any kind of a crime. And so we told the family member to please keep in touch with us if there was anything further that they needed. Today, the woman who lives inside this home did not show up for work. So that same family member did come back to the house and actually entered the garage of the home. Inside the garage, she found one of the family members who lives here, a 17-year-old male, and he appeared injured. So the family member called us again and we came out. When we got here, we found the 17-year-old male alive in the garage with what appeared to be a gunshot wound. Officers then entered the home and found the bodies of 5 people inside. The 5 people inside are a 42-year-old male, a 38-year-old female, an 11-year-old boy, a 9-year-old girl, and a 2-year-old girl. The initial information that we have indicates that all of the deceased inside of this home are members of the same family who live inside this home.
17-year-old is the son.
The 17-year-old is also a son who lives inside this home, yes.
And is the 17-year-old the one who's in the hospital?
He is, yes.
Did it appear that he was attempting a murder-suicide?
We don't know at this point. We do not know at this point if he is a suspect in this case or a victim in this case. And so because he is injured and he is in the hospital, there are some challenges in communicating with him and finding out more information. So just to give you an idea of the process here, when we get called out to a situation like this and we enter the home, the initial officers who respond to this, they enter the home and they see that there are deceased people inside. So they very quickly ensure that there's no one else in the home who might need assistance and that there are no suspects inside the home. And then they pull back out of the home and wait for a search warrant to be able to enter and conduct further investigation, for investigators to get in there and start their work of gathering information and evidence. So that portion of this has not happened yet. We have submitted a request for we've submitted a search warrant, but that has not yet been granted, so we're still waiting for that part. And then once that happens, then our detectives will be able to get inside the house, start really looking around, and start processing some evidence and gathering some evidence that will help tell us more about what exactly happened. In the meantime, we have been looking around the neighborhood, canvassing the neighborhood and talking to folks in the area, looking for any kind of information that we might be able to gather from things like doorbell cameras and things like that, information from people who know the family and who live around the family and that sort of thing. So once we're able to get inside the house and start taking a deeper look into everything, we believe that will probably provide a lot more information.
Did you, the 5 dead, do you believe, you mentioned the 17-year-old appeared to be a gunshot wound?
Correct.
Same for the 5?
Yes.
Is there anyone outside of the family that you're looking at as far as a suspect? Do you believe there's a suspect on the loose?
We do not believe there's a suspect on the loose. We believe at this point that this is an incident that's isolated to this home. Now, that's the initial indication that we have, and like I say, once we get into that house, we're going to learn a lot more. So things could change very rapidly, but at this point, all indications tell us that this is something that is isolated to this home.
So the timeline. So it had been a few days since anyone had been able to make contact with them. The 17-year-old, did it appear that his injuries were from a couple of days ago?
That's information that I don't have at this point.
Okay, and the extended family, do they have extended family that live around here?
Yes, so it was a family member who had been looking for the woman who lives in the home. This family member has consistent contact with the woman who lives inside the home. That contact had dropped off, and that was concerning for her. As we know, adults, have the right to do what they want to do, and they don't have to communicate with their family members if they don't want to about it. So that's kind of a tricky balance in protecting people's rights to do what they want to do, but also, acknowledging the concerns of family members. So that's what brought us out here last night. But without any sort of evidence of a crime having been committed, or without any sort of evidence of an emergent situation, then we just have to step back and see if there's anything further that comes up that we can act upon. So it was a family member who was concerned about her family member that actually prompted the look into the home in the first place.
And what time did you guys get here today?
Today the call was, I think it was around 2:10 p.m.
Okay, and how long does it take to process this tonight? And when do you expect to get that search warrant?
I don't know. I really don't have a timeline on when the search warrant might be approved and that might come in. As far as a timeline on the investigation, I think it really depends on, what they find once they get in there. And we're talking obviously about a very dynamic crime scene. If you have 5, victims inside of this home, that's a lot to process and a lot of evidence to recover and that sort of thing. But again, once they get in there, information may be very clear, but it may not be. So that's the thing that we need to do at this point, is just get in there, see what we're looking at, and start to put together the pieces of this puzzle to see exactly what this is.
And that woman who was concerned about, or the woman who the family member was concerned about, is
Yes.
that the 38-year-old female?
Yes, it is.
Can you tell us how the 17-year-old is doing tonight?
I don't have his condition. I will see if I can get that and get that updated. I'll put that out on Twitter. I know he suffered a pretty significant injury, and so I know he's in a condition where we've not really been able to communicate well with him. So I'll double check on the specific condition and get that information out to you.
And just to confirm, that 17-year-old is a family member of the 5?
That is correct. This home had 2 parents and 4 children living inside, ages 17, 11, 9, and 2. And the 17-year-old would be the oldest child of that group.
You mentioned those ages, young. It seems like a heavy case. How is everyone doing today? How does this compare to just everyday routine work?
This is far beyond anything routine. We were just taking a look at the numbers today of homicides that have happened in this city, and there were 4 in this city for the entire year of 2024. So this more than doubles that number. So that tells you in and of itself that this is not something that you see, in a regular situation.
And absolutely horrific. I mean, little kids, the family.
Yeah, absolutely horrific. This is something that certainly will weigh heavily upon investigators in this case. The West LA City Police Department is very fortunate to have a on-staff therapist. So our officers are mandated to see our on-staff therapist twice a year, and she's available for them to see anytime they'd like. Often after a case like this, where you have such a heavy load and you have such a difficult crime to process, there will be meetings, there will be debriefings, there will be meetings, and there will be opportunities for officers and investigators to process a difficult case like this.
And just to confirm, you say you don't believe there's a risk, a danger to the community?
We don't. The initial information that, just at face value, it looks as though we're dealing with a case that's isolated to this home.
So you said you can't go inside, but what's going on right now? We see people outside just looking for anything that you can find outside.
Exactly. So, we take a look at things, and what may look like an obvious scenario just at first glance, we certainly don't want to put all our eggs in that basket and miss something important. So the whole process will be investigating every possibility, looking at every possible piece of evidence, and keeping that open mind to make sure that we don't miss anything.
And are you guys gonna stay out here until you get that warrant, just to kind of,
Yes.
no matter how long it takes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the investigators will be here as long as it takes. Once that warrant has been approved, then we'll go ahead and go inside and start processing. And then at some point when all of that has finished, then the medical examiner's office will come and take custody of the bodies. But until then, we'll be out here working hard to try to gather any evidence possible. You mentioned what a difficult case this is, and I think in any case where people have died, loved ones have been lost, we want to make sure that we do the most absolute thorough job possible so that we can bring justice for the victims.
Have you heard anything from neighbors since you started canvassing?
Yes, our investigators have gone around and talked to neighbors. They've gathered information. That's not information that we would share with the public, but yes, we have been talking to neighbors and gathering information and gathering as much evidence as we can.
For people living around here, are they able to come and go as they can, or how does that work?
Yeah.
Is it shut off?
Yes, the road is blocked off, but for any of the people who've had to come and go, we've made sure that we've been able to escort them out. So yes, we understand that it does pose a challenge for the neighbors who are on this street as far as coming and going, but they've been very understanding, and we've been able to get them in and out as they've needed to.
Thanks, Roxanne.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'll post any further updates on Twitter. I don't expect that we will have a lot tonight, but anything further that I can find out for you, I'll put out on Twitter tonight. I don't expect any in-person updates tonight, but we can talk again tomorrow. Okay.
Can I
Thank you.
confirm those ages? 32-year-old male.
Yeah, let me make sure I check my notes, just because I don't want to give you something incorrectly.
How much the Salt Lake Tribune? Sorry, I got late. Can I get your name?
Yeah, of course. Roxeanne Vainuku. It's Roxeanne. Last name is V as in Victor, AI.